Welcome to Jappa Central. In this podcast, we explore the lives of people who've been born in one country and they've moved to another country. We explore their stories, how they grew up, life in their home countries, and then life in the new countries they've moved to. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Yes. Welcome to another episode of Jappa Central. I'm your host. I don't think I've ever introduced myself, so my name is Namdi. I'll actually introduce myself as Namdi today because this is actually a very, very special episode for me. So I'm the only son from my parents, but if I was to ever have an older brother, that's the person you see one of my older brothers, because there's two of them, but this one is the one you see in front of the screen at the moment. This is my big brother, Ikenna. So, Ikenna, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
We have been trying to get this episode done for the last 2 years or 3 years.
2 years.
Yeah, since 2021. Not that he hasn't been to the UK multiple times, but every time he comes, we just have too much fun, and then we don't end up doing the interview. So, I'm super excited to have you here.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on a few funny stories, so thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
So let's start from the very beginning. Then I've introduced you as my older brother. Your mum and my mum are sisters.
Yep.
Your mum was my mum's older sister.
Yep.
And growing up as children, we were always in each other's houses.
Yep.
So like, all I remember is like from my earliest memories, we've just been together. And you know how when we talk like with my kids, you've seen how Ikenna, who's named Ikenna for obvious reasons, is you've seen how Ikenna and Chimdi, how Ikenna follows Chidi everywhere. That's how I was with you.
Yeah.
You know, like I was always excited to come to your house. I was always looking forward to when you were visiting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start from the very beginning then. Where were you born?
I was born in Lagos, Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
On the 22nd of February, 19.
Yeah. That's good. And what parts of Lagos?
I think I was born in Lagos Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your earliest memory? So just anything you can remember as a child. What you could have been you playing with your siblings, or just what's your earliest memory you have?
Growing up, I would say I don't really have like much memory or a lot of memories tied to my early childhood, but I could remember maybe sometime from when I turned 4 or 5. I could remember like the schools I went to.
Okay, so we're going to touch on that first. Let me help you jog your memory. Do you remember when I was born or the period when I was a baby?
Yes, I remember when
exactly.
You were born.
So that was.
I could lead up to that because I remember that every summer when we got out of school, me and my elder sister Obi would always tag along with my mom to Port Harcourt to go see your parents and just hang out with you. So I remember that period when you were born that year. I couldn't come, but my mom went for your christening and everything. It was just an exciting period I could remember in the whole family that a king was born.
Golden boy. But okay.
Yeah.
So let's touch on your family a bit. You know, you've spoken about your mom and your siblings. So describe your household for me. So parents and
okay. So my dad and my mom were from the same town or local government, Unkwari local government in Imo State, and my parents. We are five siblings in total, and 3 girls and 2 boys. Okay. I say I'm the first from the back, so I'm technically the last child.
Yeah.
So
Baby of the house.
Yes. but I don't know if I'm the baby.
But growing up, what was that experience like? Did you feel like you were the baby of the house? Did you feel like your voice was you had a voice, or was it more like, at the end of the day, it was, you had brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
So
I would say not really. I just feel like so my mom was a teacher, and you know how teachers are, like, she doesn't scream every time, but when she does, it comes with long cane. Long koboko to wire you. You keep crying and she'll keep lacing you with the cane.
Yeah.
So those kind of things. So there was no preferential. It was my dad I noticed maybe he didn't really like, maybe once or twice that he would scream, but there was maybe once or twice that he actually like beat me. But apart from that, it was when my mom looks at you 2 times, like you know what
time it is,
and you know how to comport yourself,
Got
and
you.
so that kind of thing. And I remember like my elder sister, our age difference is not much, so we're always like fighting or butting heads.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
like, yeah,
that's another thing. Like, and we'll still get to the primary school aspect or the school aspect. But I remember that how I had to be pulled out from one school to the school where she was, because it was easier for my mom to have 3 in one school and 2 in another, instead of having 4 in one and just one child in another school. So,
okay.
So that led
So yeah, you started talking about school then. So let's dive into primary school. How were you as a primary school student? Like, were you the playful one, the studious one, or in between? Like, what do you remember?
My brother, I know I can remember. Okay, so I remember being in St. Mary's private school, in I think it was Broad Street, Lagos Island, and with my other 3 siblings. And I think I was in nursery school. What I can resonate with is, remember, like, during lunch break they'll give us Samco and I think something else, I don't know. But I always look forward to like going to that nursery school. I think I was in nursery 1, I think.
Yeah.
So, and
you see, that's another early memory that you weren't able to
I remember
generate.
I would go out, to play with my lunchbox. I had my food, everything inside. So it was really a nice time. Then for some reason, I just noticed I was not going to the school again. So I asked my parents why. My mom was like, no, your elder sister could not get into St. Mary's, so there's no need having 4 and 1. It's easier for me to drop off. So they pulled me out to
somewhere else,
to command. So going there, just being in a military barracks and army barracks, and like, what's going on here,
Okay.
And at that time, too, my mom was also teaching in one of the army barracks. I think it was Dodam Barracks, but this one was actually Bonny Camp, Victoria Island. And when I went there, I was like, I don't like this school. I want to go back to where they give me Samco and they have all these military people that are screaming at you, And I was there for a little bit because I remember while I was there, I think they took me back to nursery 1 still. I think I had finished nursery 1 in St. Mary's or so. Then when I went to command, I think I said nursery 2. Then maybe midway or a few months after, they decided that, okay, they wanted to test and see like maybe kids that could like skip the full school year and maybe go into primary 1. And they gave some kind of test, and I did the test and I passed, so I kind of skipped maybe 1 term or 2.
We're touching there, so
you're
slyly telling us that you're a bit of a whiz, a whiz kid when you were a child.
I'll think that I was very playful. I just like to play.
You've always been very modest and humble anyway. But we're definitely going to touch on your academics. And so in primary school, so how did you perform overall in primary school? Were you in terms of positions and stuff?
I always strive to maybe do well. I had friends maybe I'm coming first, second, but it wasn't easy, my brother. Like,
So that's what I'm trying to say. Was it something that came naturally to you, or did you go home to study more? Did your parents encourage you?
no,
Or you...
I just noticed. No, not really. Like they always say, oh, do your homework, do this, do this. But really, like even when I was in primary school, I think I only came first once in my life. You know, and the remaining. I can remember 14 positions, 7 different any position
It was
you
just
can
varied.
think
So
of.
it just depends on the
varied,
year
right?
and
Yeah, maybe.
okay.
So it wasn't like a breeze. I think when I got to primary 4, it became a little bit tougher because it was like a lot of like smart kids and this. So I just tried my best basically. Then I did primary 5. And I was supposed to leave from primary 5 to secondary school. But my mom was like, no, you cannot be. I think I was 9 in primary 5. And she was like, you cannot be 9
in secondary
leaving
school.
and going into secondary school. I was like, but all my friends have gone. She was like, no, you do primary 6. So that one I cried. I was like, how is that even possible? But I still had friends that were still in the school.
I think that was a good thing, you know.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
Then
that's how I ended up doing like.
It gives you a
primary
chance
6,
to mature a little bit, get your
instead
brain.
of rushing out at 9 years old.
What we rushing to? Look at us now. Like there's
nothing.
There's life. There's all that's waiting for us
School
is bills.
Doesn't end, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what secondary school did you go to?
So I went to St. Greg's. St. Gregory's College, Obalende, Lagos.
What was your first experience? So when you went, obviously primary school is a bit different. You have your friends, when you went into secondary school, how did you feel? Do you remember like what was your first experience or what do you remember in school?
I remember I did all those common entrance and all that. But I remember going for this St. Greg's. I think I got accepted there, and there was this like an open house where parents whatever came. But it was kind of weird because we had to make our own desk and bench and bring it. So I was confused. I'm like, why do we need to build our own stuff to bring it to school?
Yeah.
But I saw that everybody brought their own thing too. And right there, I kind of started making new friends there because I remember they kept calling my name, Ikenna, Ikenna. I didn't hear. But my mom was like, Ikenna, they are calling you. I was already playing. And then the man was like, popular jingle. That's how they know them. They already covered them making friends. So that was like the first experience there, you know. They just went white and white. I was like, wow, I came from wearing green uniforms, like white and white, and making sure my socks, everything's clean and all that.
Yeah.
So going through that process, it was interesting.
Got you.
Yeah. So when I was there from GS1 to first term of SS1, then I left and went to Nigerian Navy, Ojo.
Yes, let's touch on that.
Yeah.
You went to Nigerian Navy, Ojo, and when you were in SS3, that's when I joined GS1.
Yep.
I have a few funny stories to tell about that whole time. Number one is probably what you don't remember. GS1, I'm coming through school and I have some fried plantain and egg. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, as a day student, I'm going to eat this food with Ikenna. A senior sees me, bullies me, takes the food, eats it, goes to the dorms because you were a boarder, so you're in boarding school. It was our school was, you could either be a day student or in boarding.
Yeah.
So this senior student, I think he was in SS3 then, takes my food, eats it, eats part of it, then takes it to the hostels and shares it. You even said you had a piece of the food, but you didn't realize that was your food you were eating, you know? So, yeah, so that's one funny story. Another one, before we go into your experience in Nigerian Navy, another funny story was that you were helping me with my assignment one time, and I took this assignment to my teacher, and the guy said, "This is not you." It was so good. He was like, "There's no way you could have done this, not with your history." So I'm just trying to say how smart you were. That you did my assignment. Obviously, you're a few years ahead of me, but the fact that you did it and you did it so well that my teacher just looked at my page and said, "Yep, it wasn't you that did this." So yeah, tell me your experience about what was your experience like in Nigerian
Nigerian
Navy?
Navy was interesting because it was mixed. Then we had to wear the uniform, you know. And I started off as a day student, so going all the way from Apapa Road all the way to
Navy Town.
Navy Town was a little bit challenging. But yeah, I would always like hop on the bus, find my way, you know. And I remember the first time I think they put me in SS1. I think they had asked me, "Oh, what do you prefer?" I like, "Oh, science today," you know. So they put me in SS1 Ago, and I and I'm there. Oh, the new student, everybody's looking at me with both bombastic side eyes and people smiling or people like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Then I go, there's a full class, and the first class we have is further mass. Can't forget the man's name. I think it was Mr. Fanama.
You know that guy was still my teacher when I was with SS3 as well. Mr. Fanama. He's a legend. He was a legend.
And he was so proud of what he did. It's because he stood at the board and he's just doing, I think I remember it was either sword or I think it was swords that he was teaching in further mass that day. And I thought, oh, further mass, how hard can it be? It's just math with maybe a little bit of like extra stuff. But man, it felt like it was Chinese. I just kept watching him and he was just doing that and people were just looking like confused. Only like maybe 4 or 5 people were really following what he was saying. Yeah. But he was so excited. He was like, yeah, do you guys see it? And everybody's looking at him. But the ones he was talking to were the ones that responded to him. So, but I just kept pushing on with that class. I knew that, this class, there's no way that I'll ever pass. So constantly, from SS1 to SS3, I think, I kept getting a a pass in it. But they could never fail you because of it. So I just kept doing it and getting a pass. We shrunk down to like maybe, I don't know, maybe about 10 students or 15 that were taking that class. So I remember in our mock exam, we do mock before we do the SSC. Then NECO had not even started. It was just straight wire. So I remember doing that, and they were just like, "Oh, you should are you going to take it for your the mock exam?" Like, let me just try. Yeah, what's the worst case? P, right? So I sit there, do this exam, and I'm just doing it. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I think I have an idea what's going on. And I kept doing it. Then when it was done, after a few maybe days, they said, "Oh, we want to see the result." I was getting ready for my number 40 something, or even if I don't know if I'll touch 50. And they said like, "Oh, Ikenna, you got 87%. I was like, there's no way on here that I'll get. I beat the guy that
was the top guy. Yeah.
And the guy kept looking at me like, Ikenna, how come? He had to bring my own script
to compare.
Oh, but I did this here. I did that. How come he gave you? How come?
So what clicked? What clicked at that point?
I don't understand.
Do you think it was you stayed in the class long enough?
I studied a bit more. And I had some like a family friend that was also good at maths. So I used to go meet him and he would teach me like the sword. Like sword was a special topic that I could not even understand, and all these will I say a bit of maybe algebra and some differential equations.
I'm not gonna lie.
So
Mr. Fanama lost me when he said find X. I say X. This X that is. Oh no. I ain't got time for no X right now.
The Y, the X.
My
I'm
brother.
Like, it's a functional. I'm just looking at it. So anyway, this young guy always was helping me out, like just showing me pointers and things. And that kind of help. So, but you know what? Sometimes when you're solving math, you're not sure whether you're getting the answer, but you're just walking through the process, hoping that it makes sense. So that was my thing too. So
okay, so I want to touch on something here, and I think we're alluding to a few things. I feel like because you performed, especially in university, which we'll get to, you performed well academically. I think you did very well in secondary school as well. When did it become a thing? Did you always believe in yourself, or was it a thing where you just worked hard? I'm trying to find out, did certain things come naturally to you, or was it hard work and you sat down and you're studying in the after school? How did it start happening?
Yeah, I would say first of all, I like positioning myself properly with people that I know that could be of help to me.
Smart.
The
Mm.
smart ones. I'm like, okay, if I have questions, they could help me out. Is identifying who you can go meet to say, please, I have this problem, help me.
Got you.
Because I already figured out that if I just go there, I'm just like loafing around or doing maybe the famous guy in school or what,
Mm.
just hanging out. It doesn't get me anywhere
Anywhere.
because I needed to pass to get to the next level of life or
Mm-hmm.
next level of my academic progress.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to just be following, I'll call them rich men's children, influential
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
military men's children, and be going around or just hang. It won't work for me
Got you.
because who will be there to help me
Mm.
at that point? My parents
No,
could
but
try,
see,
but
considering how young you were and you were still able to,
yeah.
process those kind of
Oh
thoughts, I think
yeah,
that's very mature of you.
yeah,
So, okay, so you were in secondary school, you did your WAEC and you made it into Futo.
yeah.
What was your experience like in a Nigerian university?
I'll not lie to you. Like I had already started off in Unilag first because I did. Okay, so let me take it back a little bit to before Futo.
Sure.
I'd gotten and my first jam. I got admission into University of Nsukka
Mm-hmm.
to read pharmacy. Young me then, I wasn't sure. I was like, pharmacy. I know you have those roadside pharmacists, but I know they didn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Then I was like, but I always hear only ladies. I don't want to read this pharmacy. Why do I want to go study pharmacy? So I rejected. I was like, it's medicine or nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I rejected the
Pharmacy.
admission
Yeah.
to go to University of Nsukka.
Nsukka,
Yeah.
Unizik, University.
No, UNN. University
UNN,
of
okay, got
Nigeria,
you.
Nsukka.
Got you.
Because they have two campuses, Nsukka and the Enugu campus. And if it's the Enugu campus, that's fine. But this pharmacy business, I don't know. So I didn't go. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me just change to engineering also. Maybe because at that period there were a lot of like academic strikes here and there. So I was like, okay, let me go. So while waiting to get into engineering also, and I started off in Unilag. I think I did one semester or so within surveying, but I looked at it. It was just like, when you're somewhere and you're pretending like, okay, I'm going to just ride, just hang on to this thing, but you know that I couldn't clearly see what I wanted to be in future.
Doing what you were doing there.
What I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this thing doesn't work. So anyway, I ended up going to Futo and civil engineering. At first I was hesitant, like, civil engineering. It's old people's course. But I'm like, okay, let me try it. So I get there, I get to Federal University of Technology, where then my elder sister, Obi, my immediate elder, was there and she was studying. And when I get there, and I'm just, the first impression I get, I see people, I think there was exam week or something. I don't know what it was. Or people were just studying. School had just started. People were climbing on top of trees and studying from trees.
Oh, wow.
And like elevated surfaces and platforms, and they were just there studying. Then I noticed that one day I stayed there for a little bit longer, and I saw people carrying this rechargeable lantern going. I thought, where are they going to? So they are going to go study. They call it up school in the school. Like they leave the hostel and go. I was like, hell no, there's no way I can survive in this place.
Yeah.
All these people are reading, and exam is not here. It's not even time for exam. Why these people are reading like this? No, I said I'm going back to Lagos. I can't do this thing. Anyway, I will tell you when and finally I was like, okay, let me just see.
Give it a go, yeah.
Yeah, and so what I do, I'll come to school and I go back to Owerri town and go hang out with my cousins. The next day I'll come. But for almost like, I would say 7 to 10 days, I kept coming to school, But I never knew that my classes has actually started.
Oh.
So that I just come, I just hang out, just walk around the school. I was like, if it starts, maybe they'll let me know. I thought somebody was going to let me know.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah, yeah.
would let me. I don't know what I thought. So one day I was just like, someone asked me, one of my sister's friends was like, what are you here for? I was like, oh, I'm studying civil engineer. I'm like, but my class hasn't started. He said, no, they are down there, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, no, no. He said, yes, they are. And I go there and I see, like, I think there were two departments or so that were put together in a classroom. And I go there and just whisper to one guy, say, is this civil? I say, yeah. They had already started. I had to collect their notes and everything. By the time I settled in, I think we were 180 in my own class. Then the other department had 100 and something. So it was a big classroom with a lot of people, So slowly, I now knew that, okay, I had much work to do. I had notes to copy
Catch up
and
on,
I
yeah.
had manuals to photocopy and things to catch up with.
So how did you find it initially? So there's two parts. There's the transition from secondary school to university. I feel like and I don't have any experience. I didn't go to uni in Nigeria, so I can only speak from limited experience, or well, not even experience, from what people have said. I feel like in the information I've got about universities in Nigeria, it's just go there and survive. You're on your own. You come from a family where you're looked after. Your parents are there for you, and you have that support and that network. And I know your older sister, Obi, was in Futo at that point. But how did you find what was that adaptation like for you? Moving from secondary school to uni. So I'm talking about feeding, like you said, finding out about your lectures, washing your clothes. Like how did you adapt? Was it something that was easy for you? Or?
Yeah, at first it wasn't, but first thing I had to do, I was like, okay, for me to get settled there, instead of applying the our town to the Futo campus route every day, I needed to first get accommodation. So I got accommodation in the hostel.
Okay.
One of the hostel. You have to even pay for the spot. It's not like the school allocated to you, so somebody or one or two people get assigned to this thing. Then they keep sharing the spot. In my in a room, I think it's divided into 4 cubicles, kind of, were like 5 in one.
Wow.
And I had to buy that space. I can't remember, 5,000 or something for me to get that spot. You need to see how we used to sleep at night. We just put a mattress, and nobody slept on the mattress. We slept in the opposite direction. I mean, diagonally.
It was tough.
Yeah, and for you to take your bath, it was weird. Like, Lagos, you had running water and you just go. It wasn't a problem. But this one, you go down line, stay in line, fetch your water. You leave it outside or what in front of your room or wherever. Before you wake up, someone has stolen it. So it was always a hustle. So people don't go fetch. In the middle of the night, while everybody's sleeping, somebody will just nicely come and steal this thing. I'm not like I took part in one or two of those wakatu. But what people do, they just take their sponge, dip it in, their soap, everything to put it in there so that you don't want to take somebody's water that is sponge and stuff is already in it.
Yeah.
So sometimes they might not put Dettol, but they'll put things that just to make it look like, okay. Some people had to even chain their bucket. So that when you're moving, chain it to
so
something.
It makes.
Yeah, because every time you wake up and you have maybe an early morning class, you can't find water. It's gone. And you're just like, what the hell? So that was something like I had to learn. Then what of the bathroom situation? Like, it was never.
Yeah, let's stop going. Let's stop. You can give an overview, but
It was never. I used to time it. I knew when the cleaners, even when I'm in class, and I look, I say, okay, it's 12.
Because it was shared, wasn't it?
It was shared,
a shared,
right?
Yeah.
I knew when it would be cleaned. That's when the cleaners would go and clean the place. So I kind of timed it. I was like, okay, whatever class, my next class might be 1:30. I now say, okay, they should be done by
What if
now.
what if you didn't need to go?
Uh,
Yo.
if I need to go, like I mean, I didn't go every day, but when
Yeah,
I needed to,
yeah, got
so I
you.
have time. So then that's when it's at its cleanest. I
Yeah.
everything sprayed and it's cleaner.
Got you.
So, but when it's rough at night. We had airports landing pads
Yeah,
beside
I
the hostel.
understand. Yeah.
So
Let's not explain that to our
they will
international
not
audience.
understand. You people will not understand what we went through.
Okay,
But so that was it,
so that was your Fute experience. Was there any difference in terms of like the academics? Did you feel like, I know you said you already started cultivating the culture or the habit of studying or hanging around smart people to help you out. So what difference would you say you saw between the way you studied in secondary school and then how you were in university?
I'll say my university experience or academic seriousness did not even start till like the second semester, because in the first semester I was just like, I was looking for that because I had taken another jam, and I was like, okay, for my score, I might be moving to going back to Unilag or something. I will not stay here. So I was just like, let me just waste this first semester,
Have
whatever.
fun, enjoy.
Yeah, and I noticed that I just made a few friends. I always study. But I'm one person that no matter how I study and I write an exam, even if it looked okay, I don't get too excited about it because I'm always like, what if? Don't worry, you tried your best. At least you know what you want. But if a B comes, it's good. So that was how I just took it. And I had this course advisor that always come. He knew everybody's name, and everybody was so serious. People are sitting in front. I'm not the front row person at all. They will be front row. Oh, what is this? Can you excuse me, sir? How did you get this? So everybody was very like, and when you see them answering questions, your heart starts skipping. You say, these
Am
are
I in the same
geniuses
class?
in this class, and you just perch. You be like, when teacher say, who can tell me? I just move my eye. I let me look into the sky, Don't ask me, because I'm not going to tell you. Because even if I know the answer, I'm too afraid to talk. So that's how I just knew a few friends, and there's this guy, he knew everybody, and he knew people that he expected to do well. Oh, this is my guy, I know there'll be this. Should I tell the interesting thing? We wrote an exam, everything done. We went back home, came back for the second semester. So while we're doing, was it second semester? Yes, we were doing second semester. We were studying for
first year or second year?
First year.
First year.
We're studying for we were studying for exams, right?
Yeah.
In second semester. And me and my friend were like, where do we study? Because sometimes you have nowhere to study because all the rooms are taken. It's exam week and stuff. So we went somewhere to sit down and we were studying. So we just heard people say, the results are out. I was in class, but I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't really know my I will not say I didn't know all 180 something classmates that I had. So I just heard some people say, the results are out. I'm going to look. And I remember that they were studying for philosophy.
Yeah.
And I was studying for philosophy, and I just said, whatever the case, I beg, I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah.
I think that was my first exam for that second year or so. Am I correct? Yes, I think that was the case. Then, whether it was a midterm, no, I think that was an exam. So I was studying for it. I was like, Then I'd met some new friends and everything in this second semester. And I now looked at, there was a civil engineer. My friend said, let's go look. I said, I don't want to spoil. I only have one exam tomorrow. No, that philosophy was last one. And I don't want anything that will give me headache. So let's just continue. He said, no, let's go. So we went there. And the man is just course advisor is calling out. And so you walk up to him, he'll be like, oh, my name is so and so. They'll be like, oh, maybe I'm giving Mike, Mike eBay. Let's see. Oh, you got a 2-1, 3.7. He'll be announcing, so everybody knew everybody's result. If you're standing around there, you hear the man, oh, good. He said, we had 20, I think he said 21 second class upper students. This first, I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are this, you guys are that. Man said skipping. I say, hey, he's the one that the man, he go say this guy Lagos boy, yo.
Yeah.
Are you sure that he will know anything? You know, I told my friend, go first.
Yeah.
My friend walked up. He said, what's your name? He said, Kelly Bilebo. Let's see. Oh, you got a 3.75. Take a class over. My friend is bouncing, happy.
Yeah.
Hey, he got to my turn. He's like, yes. What's your name? I just say, Ikenna. Speak up. I say, oh, sorry. Ikenna, Uju. Look, 4.5. Oh,
Whoa.
my God. You are the one I'm looking for. Oh, you're the... so me, I'm afraid because he's shouting. He's like, oh, my God. I'm like, shit. I thought I'd done something.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that? He was like, oh, you're the only one. So I was the only one that got the first class.
Okay, so let's stop there. How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you feel like you were putting in any extra effort in terms of studying
me
or
being on campus during exam week or whatever, I go study. But all those going with rechargeable lantern off school, I didn't really do that.
Okay.
Because sleep, I don't play with my sleep. I can stand and sleep. So for me to do that,
tell me about it. That's been our issue, right? When we were kids, you'd be telling me a story and you fall asleep and I'll start crying.
You know, my gist doesn't end.
I know. So would you say then that some of it came naturally to you?
It came naturally because, number one, I was like, okay, the fear of even repeating a course or you come back the next day to add to, because I'm looking at that place, I'm like, there's no way I'm staying here for one more day past the time I'm supposed to leave here.
Graduation
because
date,
right now I'm already in the bush and I'm here thinking I want to get back to Lagos or somewhere for me to be here one more day. So you had to study to pass, you know. And it wasn't like just a few friends, we all studied together and everything. Nothing crazy. We were just like regular people. They were just interested in doing what and just being on campus and being close to everything instead of coming from town. Kind of helped too. So
got you.
That was it.
Oh wow. Okay. So did that response you got from your course rep then, did that
course advisor?
Course advisor. Did that encourage you more? Did that make you actually sit down and say, yeah, we can do this?
It did, because every time, sometimes we are even writing our exams. He'll walk into the hall. Maybe we are waiting to take the exam or we had just finished it. So everybody sit down, I want to sit you guys. I want to tell you your year 2, whatever semester result is out. Everybody say, oh, what did I get? What did I get? Who was the best? You say, oh, this person got this person got... So the fact that
he was going to call your name out,
was something that was like, you know what? I know that this is not what I expected. I didn't come to school to try and get I just wanted to be up there where I cannot repeat a class. That was my goal, you know. So,
okay, so your university experience was actually ended on a high because you finished with the first class in civil engineering from Futo. Let's just touch on Futo, for example. Not for example, but Futo apparently is notoriously difficult to graduate, with a first class from. So you did that, I think, which is really good. I know for a fact my parents were super. I can't even imagine how excited your parents were, but I know for a fact that my parents were super excited. My dad changed your nickname from Ike Bossman to first class, and you don't even understand how much pressure you put on average students like us, because my dad always look at me and say, "Do you see what Ikenna did?" Like looking at me like, "Yo, are you going to make us proud?" And I used to look at him like, no. So how you finished uni with a first class. What was your next step? NYSC? Did you do NYSC?
Yeah, it was NYSC. Yeah.
Where did you serve?
Okay, so we couldn't serve. I think they said they submitted blah 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 the whatever paperwork late, so we couldn't serve immediately. So we served, I think, 1 year after.
Okay.
So, but I went back to work, because I did my internship in like a civil engineering company. So while we were waiting for that, I went back there and I was working. I was like,
Okay.
whenever these guys are ready for NYC, yeah, sure. Then so I did. I was actually posted to Adamawa, Yola.
Oh wow.
You know how you say, please do make sure I get Lagos, but you see Adamawa, I'm like, Ada what? You only see you used to be Gongola that turned to Adamawa. You're like, this place is. I don't think I ever get there. And before then, I'd only done Lagos, some of the southwestern states, and the east, southeastern. Well, north, I've never been, So anyway, I was like, how do I get to Adamawa? Everything. Anyway, I got on the bus. I think it was young shark girl. So I met a few coppers too. We left like in the evening or so. Then went through, drove. It was like an all-night thing. Got to Jos. I think we stopped a bit. Then we went through the Bauchi and.
Weren't you worried?
But then Nigeria was pretty.
Well,
safe,
yeah, Nigeria was not.
So
would you do that journey now?
No, hell no. I was pretty safe, so I was just like, okay, let's just go. I was just excited. I was for the first time I was going to the north, So anyway, I went to Adamawa, then went through the NYC, the 3 weeks camp. Then after that, they redeployed us somewhere else, and where they sent me to was Atiku's town, Jada.
Okay. So after NYSC, let's touch briefly because we still need to try and get to your Jappa story.
Yeah.
So when after NYSC, you worked for a telecoms company.
No, I continued working for the
civil engineering firm.
Yeah, the British civil engineering firm. Yeah.
And then you moved on from there to the telecoms company.
Yes,
correct?
I moved on to Globalcom.
Okay.
I worked at Globalcom. Yeah.
All right. So after Globalcom, what made you decide to leave Nigeria?
Like everyone, I wanted to further my education. And it was the rave. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm doing a master's." I'm like, "Man, let me just do all these things that I can do now." This one we brain still day small now because you're getting
no brain still day, the brain is still reporting. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so
it's not when you're very old now that you're not giving you like.
So why you chose America? Why did you? And this is just because you had say Canada, the UK, Germany.
Yeah.
You had the whole world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you choose America?
To be honest with you, like I applied to schools in all these countries you called, except Germany anyway. I had admissions at the University of Manchester. I can remember a friend of mine saying, he studied chemical engineering. Photo was like, Ikenna, what do you want to do? I said, maybe master's in structural engineering. So we started searching schools. We were like, oh, Manchester. We should go do the blah, 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 master's in Manchester. So he was like, okay, I'll do a structural engineering course, master's with you, even though I'm chemical. I'm like, okay, sure. So we both applied, we got admission. I think I also got in Nottingham. Then I got in Canada, University of Alberta. And anyway, later on, we'll tell you the story about that. But nobody lived there at that point. I had no family. My sister lived in Canada, but not that part where the school was. So I was just like, I'm not sure of this. Then I now got admission to the University of Central London. University of Central Florida,
UCF.
Orlando, UCF, and with a bit of scholarship too, like an assistantship. So it set itself. I was like, okay, and at the same time, I also got a job in Total, so I had to choose between going to.
Oh wow!
Total
I didn't. You see, look how close we are. And I didn't even know about that part.
Yeah, I was just waiting to get my real offer letter and the location where I was being posted to before they were wasting time. Then this school thing happened. So I was like, you know what? can you guys give someone else? Because I can't wait anymore. I'm leaving,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, so that was it. And
Okay. So you went to uni. Obviously, this is your first experience in outside of the. I'm not saying this is the first time you traveled, but first experience studying outside of Nigeria. What was that like compared to, when you were actually before we go there? When you first got to the USA? What was that like? What was that feeling like?
yeah.
What was going through your head?
Okay, so take you back. You said going to study. That was not your first time. The first time I ever left Nigeria was to go to school.
Okay.
I'd never applied for a visa,
Yeah,
nowhere, nothing. You know, I was always working in telecom or the other company, you know. So I was like, they might not give me visa back. Let me just do
maintain
straight to speak English to these visa officers, things like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll say when I got the visa, I had to leave, you know, resign from my job, you know, and I had to rush because actually I even missed like the school started on a certain day and I came like a day or two after, you know. So when I got there, it was just like different, you know. You know that feeling you go on campus, the campus was just beautiful, clean. It was just like, I'm like, this one is different though, you know. I've been to school like Unilag is not bad too, but this one was another level, you know.
Got you.
And you know how the feeling when you leave the shores of Nigeria, you start missing Nigeria so much, you know. I saw like some black people, and I'm like, this one looks like Femi now. I'm like, Femi. The guy will just look at me and walk past. So that kind of thing, I was like, I can swear that I saw this boy maybe in Ikeja like yesterday or something. I just keep like try to find maybe Nigerian folks and everything, you know. And I was like, oh man, maybe there are no one here. They don't really have Nigeria. So I'm seeing wide, like different people, like different group of people, race and everything. And I'm just like, okay. I think this is my new normal now. Let's see how we'll make it happen, you know.
So how did you adjust to life in the USA then? You know, in comparison to life in Nigeria.
Yeah, we had a family friend too, a professor that taught in the school too. So sometimes I'll go over to their place. Maybe she'll make a bar soup and everything.
Just
Or
help you feel,
you know, things like that. I also got because you couldn't really get like on campus accommodation. It was mostly for like undergrad students, so you had to get accommodation outside campus. I remember I got one that was like a 2-bedroom with me and my roommate. It was a white guy, and it was just weird. Like when we were in the room, he used to play with all these action figures and Superman. It's not a master's student though. Am I missing something here? I think I was reading biochemistry. I just did not understand it. Then we'll have all his friends that will come, you know, and they just play with action figures. Or I don't even know whether they were playing computer games. Maybe they had to, but it was mostly all these toys and stuff. You know, and they'll be there playing all night.
Must have been a bit of a mind warp for you, considering where you came from and how serious life is in Nigeria.
And I think they were just saying to them, like, who is this weird boy to? Because I wasn't joining them because I didn't understand what they were doing. I just come back from school, enter my room, and I just stay there. Maybe I'm using my computer or something, or I'm on the phone or studying. But only if I want to go get something in the fridge, and these guys will be there. Like, so it's just something different. Then I started meeting new people in school, met friends, you know. I had interesting classes. It was way different. This was next level civil engineering. I was just like, what is going on?
That's what I wanted to say. How did you? Because obviously, I know you graduated with a great result, but how did you step up again? Because it sounds like this was another level.
Yes.
Yeah? How did you apply yourself? What did you have to do to get to the next level?
They had requirements in the school. I think you cannot get more than 1C or so. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Pressure.
You cannot get more than 1C. If not, you get warning. If you get second one, also they kick you out of the program.
Oh wow.
So I just like, you know, this one can't work. So I just knew, I said, I know where I'm coming from. For me to there, but how will I just go
International fees, yeah.
you know, things like that. Then I was also a graduate research assistant for my professor. So sometimes I help him grade homework or proctor exams, or just at the same time I was writing my thesis. So I was working in the lab trying to come up with, okay, what will I do and what would be the scope of my thesis and what will it entail, things like that. So that was interesting to like doing all these things at the same time, going to school. So I remember the first semester I had, you know, I had this notion that people always say, people overseas, they don't really do, you know, it's in Nigeria that we study. So I was like, this one will be easy.
Easy.
When I entered it, people are just studying library, the full library. When it's exam week like that, people are studying all night.
Yeah.
Hey, I say wonderful. Voila day. I know, and also the coming from like Nigeria with the British units of measurement and stuff, it was different. America is all inches, feet.
Yeah.
So I'm there trying to like figure. So that was one of the, I would say one of the shockers I really got when I was studying. So I had to learn all that. So anything you tell me in imperial units, I have to try and convert it to metric so that it just makes sense to me. You know?
So after that, I know, you know, I came to visit you. Do you know one thing? I don't know if you realize, but I actually wrote an exam in your school.
Oh, really?
Do you know that? Yeah. So when I came to visit you in Orlando, me and Amechi, remember, I think you had work or something.
Yeah.
And Amechi was still in school, and she took me there. I actually, at the day I happened to go to your class, to her class, they were writing an exam, and I sat down and I wrote an exam. Even the guy was looking at me like, "Do I know you? Are you in my class?" But you know, I was there, so why not? So after uni, you went and you worked for a bit, and then you worked for a while. Actually, it was a couple of years because I know even when I came to see you, you'd finished then and you were working.
Yeah.
And you then, number one, were you working in the same field? You're working in the engineering field, yes?
The civil engineering field.
And then after that, you decided to move to Canada.
Yes.
Why?
My brother, that's what we're looking for now. It's all about the palina.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for access to move around.
Yeah, got you.
Better healthcare.
Boy, you're moving, boy. You're moving because in the past how many years you've been in the UK, you know, so you're definitely moving.
You know, I was in the US for that 2008 upwards, about 6 years. And now I moved to Canada. Parents were there, my sister, family were there.
More support, family unit and support. Yeah.
And they kept telling me, oh, it would be better, maybe you get a better job or things will be better if you can apply and move to this in Canada. So, okay, let me give it a shot. So I remember when I visited Canada, I visited 3 times, I think. One of the times I visited, so one of my sister's friends then, who is our family friend, was not like, oh, what will it take for you to move to Canada? I said, I don't have the money to go through the process, but he said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll pay your application fee.
Oh, wow.
Joke. The guy paid it, you know. Then I had to put all my paperwork together, everything, went through all the submissions. The next day, the only thing about Canadian immigration, if you make a mistake in your application, they'll return the entire application back to you. They start from the beginning. But it was interesting. But with that gingered me to keep pushing. You know, I did the IELTS exam, all that I needed for the to move. It took a while though because there were different things that happened. Canadian embassy closing down. They moved it to another kind of center that processed the document, but at the end of the day, I already said, okay, maybe it's not coming out. I just resigned my case. Okay, I'll stay in the US. I know how to figure
it out.
my immigration status. I was just on work permit then. No, I was a student then. So anyway, that was what happened. So at the end of the day, yeah.
So, you know, just from talking to you, you have a lot of experience. You've done so many things. if you were to go back and give a young Ikenna advice, what would you tell him?
Regarding what, academic or
Just life,
immigration?
just life. What would you just tell a young Ikenna right now?
I'll just tell him, don't give up.
Yeah,
Pursue your dreams, whatever you believe in.
yeah. Go
Stay
for it.
strong, Don't allow, because everybody has different experiences. Don't allow people talk you out of certain things,
Mm.
If they say, oh, don't do this, because everyone has gone through different phases of life differently, and yours might be, God's favor might be upon you, where it
Yeah.
will just be easy and
Easier.
seamless.
Don't let
So
anyone
don't
else
just allow anybody
put
influence
their
your decision.
limitations on you.
Listen, take advice.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. It's now for you to decide. Okay, does this make sense? But don't consult like 20 people for something. You get more confused.
Got you.
Just pick the one or two people that you think that you like the trajectory they are going along on. So then you can walk. You can ask questions along the line, but don't just get confused with too many advice. You
Got
get
you.
confused completely.
So
Yeah.
now, you're shuttling between, like, we don't want to go into too much of your personal
Yeah.
details in terms of what you've achieved
Yeah.
and what you've done, just
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. But
Yeah.
you you're moving between Canada and the US and stuff. So when someone else moves to the US or moves to Canada, what advice will you give them? Like, in terms of how do they start? What should they do? What should they focus on?
I would say for Canada, like when you move to Canada, first of all, just try and, I know some people run away from their communities, right? And the Nigerian community or the Igbo community, or if it's their state or local government. But sometimes those things are helpful. And there are also resources that are available for people. It could be like Mennonite society or different immigrant societies that sometimes they'll pay for your courses, your trainings, It's just, you have to know where to source all this information. And the only thing I can give is all these agencies or groups also. They'll be very helpful. You just have to align with them. You get so much. You might get a lot of freebies, from groceries to house furnitures to even bicycles or whatever your kids have. So sometimes when people move, they just start like that. Something to help them get going,
Settle
right?
in and
Settle
stuff.
in. Then they will even help you. Okay, I'm looking for a job. This is my specialty, blah, 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 blah. They'll say, okay, what certification do you need? Blah, blah, blah. They'll help you out with some of those things. And that will just align you. Then you can now start applying for jobs and stuff, So it's just aligning yourself with groups where you can get good information. It doesn't have to be only Nigerian or black groups. They have some white groups and maybe Asian too that you can also like reach out to.
Okay. So that's one. How about career-wise?
Yeah.
So what would you... And I guess it's a bit different because, you're civil engineering. Someone might want to be a doctor or computer engineer and stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to get to is the mindset.
Yeah.
What mindset should someone move in, jackpot in? Because, the reason you've jackpot from Nigeria is for a better life, regardless. No one's living a great life in Nigeria and then leaving there to come and, hustle in another country. So what kind of mindset do they need to have?
Mindsets of success. Like, I am here in this land to achieve way, way, way more than I've ever expected or ever thought of. Always, I would say, when you move, you don't have to hold strong to, I studied mass communication, so I want to be a journalist. I call overseas or this Western world the reset button. You can try different things, Even though I was a civil engineer, I've already started learning, like doing IT courses and dabbling in it and trying to understand. So you cannot just be one thing. And with this post-COVID era, it has really taught people that you can do more than one job, sitting at the convenience of your room or your house and do the job. You can do e-commerce kind of work, kind of businesses too. So it's just I'll say you just can't give up.
Got you.
Yeah. And sometimes there are a lot of things out there, social media. This I tell you, if you move to Canada, you do this. Look at me. I don't. It's some of those things are true, but it's not all, because people sometimes it's all like Facebook, social media buzz and just
clout.
the
What they
clouds.
call clout.
Yeah, where people are saying, "Oh, if you see me, I'm living in this house." It might not be. You start saying, "Hey, look at me! If I'm in this Canada, I'll do this." It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have to sweat and you pay the due. You pay your dues first, but just don't give up. Just align yourself properly and look for different resources because they're out there. Sometimes there are financial help that the government can give that people are not even accessing.
Aware of, yeah.
They are not aware of, so they are out there. It's just for you to get it.
Okay. So one more thing, well, not one more thing, but another thing I was going to say, when you look at people from, where you've lived, even in America and Canada, that have kind of struggled, what mistakes would you say they've made? And the reason I'm asking this question is so that people who are watching can know to avoid such mistakes, or if you don't know of any, or if you
what kind of mistakes
I just mean just people who haven't really been able to find their footing in those countries. What mistakes would you say they've made that has stopped them from doing that?
Sometimes it might have just been the people around them, the kind of advice or influence that they had on you. Maybe some of them. You know how sometimes I say, no, you can't make it here. Don't worry. Don't even try this one. No. We did it. It did not. No.
Yeah.
So sometimes when they have already instilled this kind of mindset to you, you already say, no, I'm not even trying this. Or if this guy say he did it, it did not work. I'm not doing it. I'll just go. So sometimes it's just people around you.
Yeah.
That will influence. They can make or break you in that land. So it's just for you to say, okay, I've heard. Your experience was different, but I'm going to do me.
Do it.
I'm going to go find other things,
Yeah.
And so just daily keep pushing. Don't always try to seek validation or seek encouragement from people. No, just keep doing what you think is right, and just stay away from maybe some kind dingy backdoor to make the quick money. The quick, as quick as you get the money, is as quick as you lose it, or you might get
worse
jail.
And
And at the end of the day, what did I do this for? To wear Gucci and Chanel and all those things. And at the end of the day, what did you do? You have to think smart and just say, okay, am I going in the right direction? Because when you start getting into all sorts of problems in the country, it will just affect you thoroughly.
Everything.
Because
you
know
name,
what it
your
is.
credit,
everything will just come crashing. So it's just you have to keep pushing. Even if everything looks like it has gone down, you're at the lowest. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't just give up, You just change professions or change you can even change location. Maybe that place is not working for you. Because I know sometimes people like big cities and this, but sometimes the big cities don't have anything to offer. Maybe your destiny is in one smaller city or one smaller town where maybe your trade or your profession or whatever
is
needed there.
Got you.
So it's just being at the right place at the right time.
Nice. Well, my big brother.
Yes, sir.
It's been an amazing conversation.
Yes.
I'm happy that even though it took 2 years to have you sit down in front of
this one might be part one. There might be another,
no. Every single
sequel,
time, every single time we link up, we'll definitely do something. But I just want to put it on record, just so everyone knows how much you mean to me. You've been my no, we're not doing tears out here, but right from when I was growing up, I always tell people you've been my mentor. So you taught me how to brush my teeth, brush my mouth. You taught me how to pray.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've just always been like that guiding light for me. Like you've always like, you know, anytime I've had any struggles and stuff, I feel like you're someone I can call and you give me good advice. So I just want to say thank you. You know, our bond goes beyond that. We're cousins, but we've grown up as brothers, and even our parents, our moms were extremely close. Our moms were like twin sisters. And when I say where, it's because, you know, my mom's passed away, but your mom is my mom. So I just want to say thank you for everything.
Yeah.
It's lovely having you here. And yeah, onwards and upwards for you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming to Matt Studios.
Thank you.
Matt Studios. I'm so happy we managed to get this one done.
Yeah, and I wish you the very best. You know.
Thank you.
The sky is just your starting point.
Amen. Amen.
Just keep pushing. You know.
Thanks. You know what? I actually want to break protocol today because I'm never in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna come show my face for a second.
I see this our dada guy.
Yeah. So every time you watch Jappa Central, this is the voice.
See him?
This is the voice, yeah. This is the voice you hear. But yeah,
you see him? Watch that face, you know.
All right, Papi.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Oh yeah, by the way, everyone who knows him as Papi, I'm the one that gave him that name.
I know they keep asking me, why is your name Papi? I say that's why
I'm not going to tell you why I call him Papi, but if you know him as Papi, I'm the one that gave him that name. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. God bless.